1.2.56. 8, authorize tax collector in Peterson County. 14, approve amendment of resolution 012362 with traffic route maps. 17, authorize purchase by police department with all state office interiors in. 18, approve of contract with United Associates Engineering and Planning Architecture. 19, resolution supporting the affordable housing which to the New Jersey Department of Community Affairs. 20, South House. 21, approve amendment of resolution 112339 with my City property requested by Urban Health Authority. 24, approve amendment of resolution 12223 with Garrison Enterprise Inc. 25, approve amendment of resolution 112235 with Brunswick Lodging doing business as Red Carpet Inc. 26, approve request for the streets closing requested by the restaurant guys. 27, approve amendment of resolution R112330, order number 2 for Sandra Nunes. 28, approve amendment of resolution 0 contract with Sanitation Equipment Corporation. 30, approve relaxation of the city ordinance requested by Shelter Common Services. Amendment of resolution 02338 for the Dallas Esperanza and Holiday Brigade requested by the council tomorrow. 32, advice and consent to property maintenance for the Board of Appeals reappointment Peter Lampton and Francis Valenti. 33, advice and consent to trash commission board appointment of Brandon Kaplan. Blackwell, Reverend Roy Carrington, and Anthony Jones. 35, advice and consent to cable television and citizen advice. Ivan Arroyo and Melania Brandt. 36, advice and consent to Michael Tubley and Tracy Reader Clark. 37, advice and consent to Parks and Gardens. And Josh Materesco. And 38, advice and consent to senior citizens of Nathan, Gabriela Lennox, and Jesse Rhodes. Then we have items for discussion. Wednesday, December 20th at 5:30 at the City Council meeting.
Councilmember Anderson.
Here.
Councilmember Castaneda.
Here.
Councilmember Gaskins.
Here.
Councilmember Cora Ludwig.
Here.
Council Vice President Egan.
Here.
Council President Escobar.
Here. This bill, the Municipal Council of the City of Brunswick has been placed on an appropriate bulletin board in City Hall and has been transmitted.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
As the holiday season has started, let's take a moment to reflect on the values that bring us together and those connections that can bring us generosity and gratitude.
Council Vice President Egan.
Yes.
Council President Escobar.
Yes.
Correspondence received by the City Clerk's Office was forwarded to the appropriate department for further action.
Thank you. For having that person, we are adding 28 Julia Street, 62 Lee Avenue. Council member has any questions or comments on this ordinance? Open the public hearing on this. Possible, if we have an ordinance number, let me be sure, I have that for you. 19. We have to have a solution of what ordinance entails on the floor. Resolution 19. Sorry, Mr. Shammy. If you could just give us a mission, please. Tell us what I was supporting, that's the possibility that was tomorrow's application.
This
request from Brunswick tomorrow, property for the development of these two-family property. One is a single-family property. One of the requirements from the state relative to this grant, not rehabilitating them or improving them, is an authorized payment of this firm's bills and services.
4 to 5 minutes per person. You have one time up. The public wishes to address the council.
On behalf of Ms.
Please,
Ford.
you could answer the question. She wants to know what type of program.
That is, my name's Lisa Trulis. I'm the social worker at the New Brunswick Senior Center on behalf of Melanie Ford, who is the director. This is under her.
Department, as far as with taser, with due to where, what did New Brunswick Police Department have tasers already? Did they ever have tasers? What, please tell me what made you decide to upgrade on tasers?
Lieutenant.
Yes, we've had tasers for a few years now. We are at the earliest, one of the earliest generations of them, which, if I'm Axon, I'm brilliant, are no longer covered. Parts are no longer covered, no longer warranted, and more importantly, we lose the automatic legal protection that we get from, we receive through our contract with Axon. So we have to replace everything.
Thank you.
Well, it's good to see, too, and one thing that surely came to my head was seeing this, due to where, like I said, taser, due to where, wow, with New Brunswick and Franklin should have thought about taser before shooting a man with mental health. So like I said, it's good to see, like I said, I hope your officers are trained to work more with mental people using tasers instead of gunshots. And another one due to where I knew it sounded familiar, that was number 1954 Drift Street, where I said, wow, that number looked familiar due to where I have a picture of it on my phone, where this sold for $305,000, but wow, what in the world with this location with severe water damage, with flooding and sewage, non-stop water flowing from this house right here, where, come on, that they would even think of making into, what, affordable housing, due to where severe sewage there. Every day that I pass there, due to where what, and like I said, you even see on the picture how it went up for sale. What would they even invest in doing this work? You notice the flood zone, the bad sewage, due to where it stinks over there so bad. Please tell me, why would they even look into buying this location?
I cannot ask. And I'm pretty sure they have taken into consideration some of the things I told you, but I would suggest for you to contact them directly and have them answer those questions.
Okay, I surely will. I have to say, I appreciate anything going to housing, but due to where, like I said, the Lord's telling me, due to out of all these years, 46 years that I've been here, I know this is a very horrible location, the same area that just had the flooding 2 times not too long ago. And then the last one is number 25. Would you be able to tell me what type of emergency housing shelter this would be for?
Yeah, so this is our typical annual contract with the red carpet in for when the code enforcement or construction needs to shut down a house for, you know, unsafe issues, and then they need to be relocated.
Thank you.
Okay, great. Sorry, I said last one, but okay. Trucks have cameras and alarm situation going on with a lot of workers due to where what? Reports of stealing trucks.
Anybody else from the public? I gave you that information. You will have to ask the question tomorrow.
Okay.
And if I could make a constructive suggestion, I would really like to see some kind of 21 were answered, but I also wanted to talk about the red carpet in. So just to clarify, this is like, for instance, when it's not safe to be in because of, flood or something.
Flood and fire are domain of the Red Cross. We do not do for flood and
This is
fire.
just on the habitable because of what's in
From a
the
code
city.
violation
The
issue.
place is crushed.
Yes.
Just from being in a place where you can walk everywhere to get everything you need. and then you not only lose your home, and you have to move your family. I've been saying it for a long time now, and I've seen it get worse over time. Less bus routes, less service, and so I wanted to ask these folks who might end up in the red carpet inn, is there any kind of transportation assistance that the city or anyone else provides, and if so, is that communicated to those people?
So Dominguez,
I'm not aware of any such service.
Donna Rai is specific for some demographics, not for
Right, including low income, right? So some people might be able to avail themselves of dial rider certain hours of the day. If they're going to certain things, like a supermarket or medical appointment, they could, but I don't know if they're being told that. So I would suggest that whenever folks end up in the red carpet, and there should be a conversation about transportation, what the city does offer, and again, I think really
We
needs
can
it.
assume that it's not being done because we don't know, right? Probably that's part of the,
Well, planning
part of
director
the
didn't know
process.
about it, so.
no, you were asking any type of transportation, just maybe in terms of monetary, if we have a plan, but I think I'm pretty sure that whoever is in charge is able to provide those transportation, because that is a very valid concern, and I'm pretty sure they have.
Thanks for acknowledging that, because yeah, I do feel that, I know a lot of folks who've been out there and you feel like you're stranded if you don't have a car. So, and yeah, no disrespect to the planning director, I know that there's a lot of programs not everybody knows about, and it would be great if more people had more knowledge about what is available.
Sometimes because the director doesn't know, that doesn't mean that it's done.
Exactly. So yeah, that's all fair, but I do think that more can be done in terms of offering the services of transportation and also informing people about it. That's all I have.
Thank you. Anybody else from the public wishes to address the council on the resolutions?
Good afternoon, council members. Carlos Ramirez, reporter with Brunswick today on resolution 15, tasers. I see that the purchase of new tasers. Can you confirm if these are newer models and what models would they be?
Thank you, just but can you just say it again?
Yes, I think they're Taser 10 series.
Okay, that's the model. All right. Yep, that's all. Thank you.
Anybody else from the public wishes to address the council on the resolutions? Seeing none?
Move the resolution.
Second.
Councilmember Anderson.
Yes.
Councilmember Fleming.
Yes.
Councilmember Gaskin.
Yes.
Councilmember Secor Ludwig.
Yes.
Council Vice President Egan.
Yes.
Council President Escobar.
Yes. Before going to the public comment portion of the meeting, any of my council members wishes to address the public, any concerns, any information you want to share? So I just want to give a few updates, very short list this week. As it was informed, you saw a press release. We have Anthony Caputo, our University Police Director, is retiring. I would like to take this opportunity to thank him for his leadership during his 38 years. And also at the same time I would like to congratulate Vince Sable and who will be named for the ship coming the new year, and Captain Boravida, who will be the deputy chief. I am confident with the new leadership that the work that the police department has done will continue to serve our residents. Also, just an update, it was to ask the council in support of the bill. At this time, the council doesn't have consensus, so we will not have a resolution. But on that note, I would like to acknowledge that I know I read that Robert Wood Johnson and the nurses have come to some type of agreement. And that they should just waiting to be ratified.
Tentative
And I
agreements,
hope
no
that-
agreements.
I know it's waiting to be ratified by the union members, so. At this time, any member of the public who wishes to address the council, just have 5 minutes. And this is just for comments. This is not a question and answer period. Just want to make it clear. You're welcome to address the council at this time.
Hi, yes, First, I'm going to start off with Keith Jones, due to where I will say thank you to him for working some things out, due to where last week we had a big situation where Cold Blue has been filling up too quickly. That only holds 25, maybe 29 people. A lot of people are telling me not enough space. I appreciate him giving me advice. And I'm coming down talking to the office saying that people can come sleep in the police department. And when I went over to the police department, it was super, super warm. So that is a blessing, helping hand. But due to where we have so much more people that are homeless, we have a situation with Cold Blue housing, and also due to where I've been volunteering for food service at United Methodist Church for the past 3 weeks or so, how we've been running out of food. I'm going to ask the county as well. Going to need some help out with food, due to where we're seeing a lot of new faces. Food is going, 72 meals in not even 15 minutes, so going to need a helping hand with more food. Then also I would like to start to thank the parking authority for giving out so many tickets, due to where New Brunswick Police Department is doing a horrible job and giving out their tickets. And I will say thank you to Carlos Ramirez for on November 18th to show the video, which at least 4 or 5 of you council members are connected with Carlos on Facebook, was showing, wow, a car almost turning the wrong way into a one-way street, hitting police car 920. Wow, did the officer even check to see was this person drinking or driving? What, to let him back up and pull off? Thank you very much for proving my point, Carlos, that New Brunswick Police Department needs to do a better job. And then the other part, I will say thank you to Mr. Cradaville on his statement where you've seen as well. What, I'm not the only one complaining that New Brunswick Police Department is doing a horrible job. Come on, 3 more people dead? Please, enough. Then I will say thank you to New Brunswick firefighters and other. Heartbreaking for a lot of families. Help us out there. And then also due to where, please, I'm going to speak up for our nurses today. You ought to be ashamed of yourself, due to where you're in New Brunswick to save your life up there in the hospital. You should have been the first one to sign a resolution, due to where what? Franklin sign. You live here, you're the closest to that hospital, and I'm pretty sure you would be taken there. And when you keep saying you're not part of a union, please, it's not even about that, it's about who you are friends with. You're more friends with God. That is not true. If anyone look at the video, due to where when Suzanne Secor Loving was president, wow, police department is part of the union. Didn't she give Captain Director J.T. Miller a raise? Oh, I feel like the crime is up. He's doing more paperwork. I feel he deserves a raise. Did she do it? Yes, she did. So please, why do you keep saying that you cannot help unions? Why? Because you're more on Robert Wood Johnson's side than, like I said, the people that we need to save. You should have been the first one to sign. And yeah, like I said, it's true. Yeah, due to where she gave a raise. So like I said, why do you keep saying you don't deal with unions? Well, aren't they part of a union, the police department? Yeah, now you all quiet. Why? Because I got you red-handed? Enough. Help our nurses get back in there. We want our real nurses, because I announced to you plenty of times that I went in there with patients that I helped off the street drinking and alcohol. What, the nurses couldn't control them? What, they would listen to me better than the nurses, due to where I knew them so well. Nurses looking at me, why are they listening to me? What, that one, and I said where each one's address they were from? They all listen. Due to where you have to be certain people, be skilled to work with certain people with drinking, drugs, alcohol, any subject. But like I said, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. Get our real nurses back in there. You should have been the first one to
clarify that the council, Suzanne's councilwoman is does not raise salaries of anybody. Those salaries with the police department, as the fire department, are regulated by the union and the representative of the administration, of our administration, so we have nothing to do with that. We just ratified it here, so. Yes. Good evening.
My name is Carol Tansey. I'm a nurse at Robert Wood Johnson. I don't know if this is my 6th, 7th, 8th appearance here. It's very disconcerting that information was provided, that questions were openly offered, to hear your statement in the beginning saying this is the time of caring about each other, to hear Mr. Egan say his strong speech about union brothers and sisters sticking together and having each other's backs. The hospital, not in good faith, released a statement to the news media saying that we had come to an agreement. But the union has not brought the agreement to us yet because there are still a lot of unanswered questions on how we go forward. But the hospital has not been forthcoming with the answers yet. So, as we have seen throughout this entire strike, the hospital portrays a certain illusion that everybody seems to be buying into. And we are now aware that it is because of personal relationships between certain people and the hospital. And that can't be acceptable. That can't be something that we allow to go on that's not called out. We are citizens, constituents, humans, brothers, sisters, who all need to care about each other. And while there are beautiful things going on in here in New Brunswick, there's a lot of ugly things that are going on here too that really need to be brought to light. And a tree lighting with an ice skating rink is a beautiful thing, and it really is nice for the community. But so is having a hospital down the street that is part of this community, that is also respected and dignified, with support. You are legislators on the local level, but still have an impact. We know the relationships. We understand the relationships. We understand how things go down in this town. And now we can't unsee it. So we are directly calling on you, Mr. Egan, for personal appeals. Because we do know how this works. We do know you have a say in this. We do know you have influence. And it's hurtful to be told time and time again, it hasn't been considered, we still need to discuss it, we still have questions. So the transparency is wide open with us. We are more than willing to come to on any level to an agreement, but it has never been reached out. Ms. Bennett reached out to me and asked me for some information. I supplied it to her in a very quick turnover. And to come in and see that it's not on the agenda today, nothing up for discussion. I can't imagine, after all these weeks, what the holdup could be. My phone hasn't rang, nobody had a question for me, so that, for me, that just says that everything is clear, that you understand it. And if that's true, that you understand how serious this is, and you still wish to not participate or help, because you are in a position to help, that's very disconcerting to me. Nurses would never, ever turn their back on anyone. And we've made personal appeals with real stories. Some would characterize them as melodramatic, but they're not, they're real. And if that's hard to hear, I'm sorry for your fragility. But that's real life. That's what's really happening here. And it is simply a matter of giving a crap about the important things, and maybe a Christmas tree lighting is not the most important thing you could have planned this week. Maybe it's not the most important thing that could have gotten all your attention this week. There's real problems in this town, and they really need to be addressed, and you guys are the ones to do it. I'm just disappointed, I really am. And I've known you, Susan, for so many years, and I didn't think that that was the kind of work ethic that you had, and it's hurtful, it really is. It's hurtful to know that people who should have an impact in this very positive way are week after week after week pushing it to the side. The legislation is important because Robert Wood Johnson has proven that they are not able to self-regulate in a meaningful, safe way for patients. It's not my personal testimony, that's research. There's statistics everywhere that it's not safe. It's not dramatic, it's a truth that has been well documented. And for everybody to keep ignoring that when you know you have an influence in that, it's shameful. It's shameful. So I'm looking forward to what your answer is, and I am available for questions and any kind of an explanation. And I mean that sincerely. I really do believe if you understood exactly how crazy it is in there and what it's like to have to work in those conditions, you would never let this languish on like this. 120-something days. and they took our benefits away. That is in no way being kind to each other and taking care of each other. Thank you.
Take anything that is brought in front of us very seriously, and although it takes time, it might be a process that is frustrating to some. I assure you that this council is 7 voices, so we have to make sure, I have to make sure as council president that everybody has a voice, that they express their opinion. Due to some constraints, we don't have the votes to be able to pass this, but nonetheless, as I said in the past, I had taken action on my personal, not as the council, as a person, and I have supported the xenophobia. I have said it here. So it's not that we are not aware of the challenges. This is not about connection. This is about what are we able to do as a council or not. And sometimes we are not able to act on some of the support that is asking. It is very imperative that we have a chance for everybody to give their opinion. Everybody here has one. Whether we agree with them or not, that's not the case. There's a process that has to be followed. And it's not that and sometimes it takes longer, like I said, than other times. But everybody has to have a voice here in order to be able to move forward. So, as I said, I hear you, as the council will hear you. And I said this before, I hope that both sides at the end work for the good of everyone, because at the end, the ones that are affected are those that you take care of and the hospital take care of. So we don't get involved in anything other than that. But again, this doesn't preclude some of us to support it on our personal level. Yes.
Thank you. So in the spirit of transparency and just for my own ethical reasons, I do want to share legislation. Because of my day job, I am therefore not precluded as a member of the council of my day job. My day job cannot be seen as influencing as a member. I respect the decisions the city council makes, but on this topic alone, I just want to make very clear that for the legislative code of ethics of which my day job is, I cannot comment in my capacity as a member of the city council.
Thank you. Councilwoman Gaskin. Anybody else from the public wishes to address the council?
Evita Plaza, one of the nurses in North Johnson. I was just curious if it's like not 100% everyone's obedient. The people that are reading and not right, how many are not?
I'm not going to go into those details. Respectfully. Thank you. Anybody else?
Good evening, everyone. Well, I appreciate what the nurse said, and I'm going to refrain from commenting on that, except I would like to actually thank you, room. So while you explain to us why you're abstaining from those decisions, we can agree or disagree, but based on the ethical needs, I appreciate that you at least told us that. So thank you. As far as the Christmas tree lighting was concerned, that was really a spectacular event. For those of you that got to go, aside from all the acrimony that's, in the underbelly of the city, there can still be, good, lighthearted moments, and this was one of them. We had a world-class tenor, Amin Hashim, who you can't buy tickets for, sing for us for free for about, 40 minutes. He was amazing. The tree, I expect, will be lit and available should we want to bring any of our friends, which would be a big improvement over some past years. Sort of, what should I say, askew. But I just want to say that that particular evening, despite the rain, had a great turnout, and it was good to see some of you there, and maybe the other I didn't see, I just plain missed that you were in fact there. But I want to hope that that type of an event that uplifts the city continues throughout the year in different forms, through different organizations, through different cultural expressions, and it makes it a better place for us all. So thank you for that, and have a good evening.
Thank you. Anybody else from the public to address the council?
Good evening once again, Charlie Cradle, New Brunswick today. We have a handout for the council. Start by saying rest in peace to Anger Abreu and sincere condolences to his loved ones. He was the 5th person to be murdered in the city this year, and you wouldn't know it if you followed the city on social media, or if you rely on Mixel to give you alerts about important information. You wouldn't even know it if you went to the city website and went to the police department and went to police press releases for 2023. You just wouldn't see any record of Anger Abreu's life being taken. And the fact that police are seeking the public's help, right? So if we want to solve this and bring the perpetrator to justice, we should be sharing that statement out. Don't you agree? Okay. Well, I've brought this up before. The city's not living up to its own promises. Folks can go to the city website. You'll see tap into article, Mayor links rise in New Brunswick shootings with court backlog. And you can see right there in the last paragraph, quote, city officials will notify the public of shootings in public places such as streets and parks through social media platforms. This was a shooting where 3 people were shot, 1 killed. No mention of it on the city's social media channels. Is that acceptable?
They have their own, we have said it before, what is the criteria that they use. So I'm not going to comment on the criteria. So we have, Mr. Barron, that's the city, that we are supposed to put those, you put any press releases on that?
There's a process involving the police, and when I get something from them, it's shared. And I'm sure there's...
They have shared already about the process that we have. So, and I don't know the article that Mr. Barron is referencing to, that the city says that in front of the city, the city said this.
According to Tap Into, and the article was so good that the city chose to republish the article. So, and we've been through this before about when the city puts up something that's not true on the website, you should correct it. And throughout that whole debacle last time, it was never made clear who runs the city website. And just the last time I brought this up, Lieutenant Hoover said he doesn't run the city website, so he distanced himself from it. Now we're hearing that the police are involved in the process, but no one's taking accountability for actually getting the information about the murder happened last Thursday. It's almost been a week.
I guess it depends on the incident. But again, there's the criteria that the police utilizes to announce it to the public. We have talked about it already many times.
They said if someone is shot by a bullet,
so
then they will.
I will look at that again, and I will see if that's the case. And if we miss it and we have to correct that, then we'll do so.
Thank you.
I will follow.
Thank you, I appreciate it. I also want to correct the record. The council does vote on contracts for city workers.
That's what I said.
And you also vote on the salary ordinance, which I believe is how it's directed. Then Deputy Director Miller got his raise.
That's part, but it's not just her. That's what I was
Oh, I
trying to put
understand,
the
yes,
point.
it's a group
And I
decision.
said, once it's ratified, then it will come to us.
And so speaking of that, the council went into a closed session last time to discuss your own compensation. Is that correct? Are you considering raising the salary for yourselves?
Mr. Shammy gave an explanation last time of what
Attorney-client privilege communications regarding council basements, benefits, etc.
Benefits. What are the benefits? Is Mr. Egan going to continue to get health benefits from the city? Is that?
I don't think Mr. Egan gets health benefits now.
Okay. So then what kind of benefits are we talking about here? I didn't know of any
I'm not
benefits.
going to answer your questions regarding the closed session, Mr. Craddock.
Well, at some point you have to tell us what you think is going to happen. I didn't mean any disrespect to Mr. Egan.
When it's related, at some point then, if that's the case, you will hear about it.
Okay, I presume that would require an ordinance.
Yes,
Exactly.
Okay. I had to ask about the planning board. The planning board had a meeting, took testimony for hours with only 4 members present, not a quorum. Is that hearing going to have to be done over? What is the status of that application?
That's the planning board turn.
That's, I was gonna say that, Mr. Dominguez is here, but that's a planning board question.
Okay. Well, then I will just close by saying, one day stronger, one day longer, I stand with the nurses, and we need you to read the bill. Read the bill and make up your mind.
Thank you.
New Brunswick should support safe staffing.
I am sick and tired of going to 50 to 100 meetings to complain about that we need safe staffing in our hospital. I had Piscataway, I had North Brunswick, South Brunswick, East Brunswick, all the Brunswick support us, but New Brunswick. I was outside DJing for about 47 days until we got an order to stop making noise. There's multiple people coming out of the hospital, coming up to the nurses outside going, we need you inside, it's very unsafe in there. But you guys don't care about that. You only care about your money and what you're getting from the hospital and what your insiders, what you have. But you don't care about the people of New Brunswick who are overdosing and dying on the streets because they can't afford to go to the hospital. They don't want to go to the hospital because it's unsafe in there right now. I was a patient in there. I had to wait almost 5 hours and I didn't even get the care that I needed in the ER. 5 hours. When we get safe staffing in the hospital, maybe I'll wait 2, maybe even 1, maybe shorter. But we need our nurses back in the hospital because I'm sick and tired of going and begging on my knees to all these politicians and all these people at these council meetings that we need safe staffing in the hospital. It's been hidden for 20 years in the legislature, and we need our senators and we need our council people in the town that love and support New Brunswick, the heartbeat of New Brunswick. We need you guys to support us because I'm sick and tired of hearing that you guys don't support us. And we come in here and we beg and we plead, and some of the moms come in and complain they have no health insurance, and the nurses complain we can't celebrate Christmas because we don't have money because we're not working. You need to support because you're New Brunswick and you're the heartbeat of New Brunswick, and these nurses are the heartbeat of New Brunswick. They're the heartbeat of Robert Wood Johnson. Thank you.
Well, I want you to yell at me again when I said someone is coming, like you did last time.
Well, thank you for letting me speak today. I've been to several municipal council meetings, and they're usually very, very supportive of the nurses, and they're very glad to sign on to a safe staffing ratios resolution. And I'm so surprised to see that y'all just won't do it and have lots of excuses like unions. No, this makes no sense at all. And maybe you don't understand. 20 years ago, California nurses got passed their bill for safe ratios. We now have 20 years of data proof that safe ratio saves lives. You need hospital lobbies doubled how much they spent on lobbying against what people want to control. And if you look at sucking the money out of healthcare, feel that somehow they must control what nurses and doctors do. There's been a nurses' patient care is the goal, or doctors' patient care is the goal. In health. And I urge you pass this resolution in support of state staff and that you do it quickly. Other municipalities have. Are they geniuses? Responsibility to read up and realize what are the important things. And you can do it too.
Found a place and lost the Section 8 because I didn't do it quick enough. Senior center, if I can't get in the senior center, my credit is not good, so everywhere I go, senior center, everywhere I go, they deny me because of my credit. I don't know what to do.
That might be able to help you. So if you don't mind giving me your name, after the meeting, so you give your name and you know where to.
Second. Councilmember Anderson.
Yes.
Councilmember Fleming.
Yes.
Councilmember Gaskins.
Yes.
Councilmember Socorro. Vice President